Customer throws a fit, claims she owns the restaurant, but her real boss walks in. Hi there, everyone. Today I've got a wild story from my days working at one of the busiest and quirkiest restaurants in town. Let's call it the Little Bistro. I was just a server, doing my regular shifts and dealing with the typical array of customer quirks, complaints, and of course, laughs along the way. But this story really takes the cake. It involves a rather unique customer who, let's just say, thought she owned a lot more than just her meal. To set the scene, let me tell you a bit about the Little Bistro. It's this cozy, mid-sized restaurant with a blend of everything. It has a warm, homey vibe, with fairy lights hanging from the ceiling, jazz music playing softly in the background, and a menu that covers everything from brunch to late-night comfort food. A lot of regulars love the place because it feels like an escape from the city rush, somewhere they can kick back and enjoy a good meal without any pretense. But, like any popular spot, we do get the occasional high-maintenance customer, the "do you know who I am" type. But this one? She really took it to a whole new level. So there I am, just getting started with my shift, organizing some menus and making sure everything is neat and tidy before the dinner rush, when in walks this woman. Right from the get-go, she has this presence, like she owns the entire block. She's dressed to the nines, heels that could probably double as weapons, a huge handbag slung over her shoulder, and a look on her face that says she's about to make someone's day very difficult. I brace myself as she heads toward the hostess stand, cutting off a few other guests in line, and says in this overly assertive tone, "I need a table now." Now, this wasn't my first time dealing with people who want special treatment, so I politely explain that there's a bit of a wait. I give her the usual friendly line, "It'll just be a few minutes. We'll have you seated as soon as a table's ready." But she's not having any of it. She rolls her eyes, gives me this dramatic sigh, and says, "Do you even know who I am?" I give her a polite smile and tell her I'll check the reservation list to make sure there hasn't been an error. But of course, there's no booking under her name. I offer again to seat her as soon as possible, but that's when things take a turn. She steps back, crosses her arms, and in a voice loud enough for the whole restaurant to hear, she declares, "Well, this is ridiculous. I own this restaurant. I shouldn't even have to wait." At this point, I'm just stunned. Owning the restaurant? I've met the actual owner multiple times. He's a friendly, soft-spoken guy who prefers to keep a low profile. And here's this woman, a stranger to all of us, claiming she's the one in charge. But she's got everyone's attention now. Diners are glancing up from their meals, and a couple of other servers are raising their eyebrows, clearly just as surprised as I am. Now the thing is, in this situation, I can't exactly call her bluff outright, but I also can't let her intimidate the whole staff. So I calmly tell her, "If you'd like, I can double-check with the manager on duty. They'd love to come over and say hello." But she's not backing down. Instead, she doubles down. "Oh, don't you worry about that. I'll be speaking to him myself soon enough," she snaps. "In fact, I'll make sure all of you are retrained in proper customer service after tonight." By now, she's nearly yelling, and the staff and diners are caught between shock and amusement. But before I can respond, in walks the actual owner, Mr. Sato. He's dressed casually, like he's just stopping by to check on things. He's got that calm, almost fatherly vibe to him, and he doesn't usually intervene unless there's a serious issue. I catch his eye and give him a look that says, "You're going to want to hear this." And, right on cue, our owner notices him too, and storms over. Mr. Sato looks a bit confused, but lets her approach, giving her a friendly, welcoming smile. She starts in on him with this angry tirade, telling him she's in charge, and that she'll have the whole staff replaced if they don't shape up. Now he's just listening, nodding politely, and I'm waiting for him to tell her off. But he just lets her rant, nodding and looking as though he's genuinely interested in what she has to say. Finally, after what feels like a marathon of her complaints and threats, he clears his throat and says, "I think there's been some misunderstanding. I actually own the Little Bistro. Her face, it's like a switch flips. One second, she's all bluster and bravado, and the next she looks like a deer caught in headlights. Everyone in the restaurant is watching now, completely silent, all eyes on her. She stammers for a moment, clearly trying to process the humiliation setting in. And Mr. Sato, with this little twinkle in his eye, leans in and says, "But I'm always open to suggestions on customer service improvements, so do let me know what you'd like to see." She goes pale, mumbling something about just wanting to help, and without another word turns and practically runs out of the restaurant. After she leaves, everyone bursts out laughing. It was one of those moments that brought everyone together, servers, customers, even Mr. Sato himself, who doesn't usually crack up. It felt like a scene out of a sitcom, a wild, unforgettable moment that none of us will probably ever forget. And that, my friends, is the story of how a fake restaurant owner tried to throw her weight around, only to be put in her place by the real deal. Thanks for tuning in. If you've ever had a moment where someone tried to pull the "Do you know who I am" card, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your stories.